As Ian indicated, he's going to try and come in on the discussion later on. So we're going to move straight on to the next speaker in this session to talk about the potential of precision technology to improve grass growth and utilisation on Northern Ireland livestock farms, and that's Dr Debbie McConnell of AFBI. Debbie is the principal scientist within the Sustainable Dairy Systems Research Programme at AFBI Hillsborough. And before she joined AFBI, she actually worked for the Agricultural and Horticultural Development Board in England. In fact, I remember Debbie, she joined us when I was chair over there, so it's really nice to meet up with her again today. She managed the Grassland Forage and Soils Research Programme for us there. Debbie now leads the Dairy Grassland Research Programme at AFBI Hillsborough, and I just wanted to state that in 2016 Debbie was awarded a Nuffield Scholarship to study the future role of precision technology. So there's a theme here. Debbie.
Right, good morning everybody, and thank you very much, Tim. So just following on from Ian's presentation, what I wanted to do this morning was really talk about the precision technologies that are really going to add value to us here in Northern Ireland in terms of tackling one of our big challenges, obviously improving grass growth and utilisation on farms here, and really give you a little bit of a flavour about one of our exciting new developments within AFBI, our precision grassland platform, which we're hoping to take on in the next couple of years as part of our involvement with the CL programme. So really, today is about looking forward and looking forward to 2030, and in doing that, I actually just wanted to first initially take a step back from agriculture and say, well, actually, what's happening in the world, what's changing? And Ian alluded to it a couple of times throughout his presentation. We are very much in a very changing world when it comes to precision technology. We are fascinated by data sharing. It's estimated that between 2012 and 2020, we're going to see a 700% growth in the amount of internet data that's shared online. And Ian again alluded to it, we're seeing a lot of chaotic development in terms of the number of technologies and devices that are coming online. By 2050, it's estimated there's going to be a staggering 50 billion connected devices in the world. That's 6.6 devices for every single person on the planet. So we are going data and technology mad, but actually that presents huge opportunities for our agricultural systems, and not only will that impact on our day-to-day lives, we'll very much see that coming into our agricultural systems and having, hopefully, a significant benefit there. What value does that precision technology bring to agriculture? Well, Ian certainly alluded to it. With precision technology, we have the ability to really understand to much finer detail the complexity that we have in our biological systems. So really, agriculture is the perfect host for our precision technology. If you think about soils across a field and variability in phosphorus content, if you think about individual cow response to milk, to concentrate supplementation within a dairy herd and the variability there, or as we often really like to do, if we think about the variability in rainfall patterns between Fermanagh, Tyrone, Antrim and County Down, certainly there's huge variability there, and technology really allows us to capture it, and that brings a really strong benefit to our agricultural systems. Obviously, it has a significant on-farm application as well, and the success stories that we have seen in technology development in the last number of years have really focused on driving efficiency in terms of our resource use management. For example, one of the big benefits of estrus detection behaviour is it has accounted for massive savings in terms of labour use, and we see precision feeding and precision fertiliser systems coming into play to allow us to reduce input requirements there. And finally, precision technology as well does take our management of animals and fields to a whole new level, allowing us to go and develop integrated and detailed management systems for individual units on farm. And so precision technology will have a significant impact, that's no doubt about it, in our agricultural sectors. And that's going to be really important for us in Northern Ireland as we tackle arguably one of our biggest challenges looking forward to 2030, and that is driving grassland production and utilisation. Obviously, it is something that is incredibly important to our Northern Ireland livestock industries here. Grassland agriculture does underpin, and we talked about this word a lot this morning, sustainable dairy, beef and sheep industries here in Northern Ireland. And there's both economic, environmental and social benefits coming to the fore now and associated with driving forward efficient use of grass and forage systems. And if nothing else, there's certainly a significant financial benefit to improving grass growth and utilisation on farms. Some recent AFBI data has shown that for a dairy farmer to increase grass growth and the quality of that grass by 1 tonne of dry matter per hectare, it's worth about £440 per hectare, and the equivalent is about £200 on a beef farm. So significant financial improvement there to driving grass growth and utilisation. But to do that, that comes with a couple of key challenges that we have to address. The first of those is soil. We've talked at length in the past about actually we do need to increase and improve the chemical and physical structure of our grassland soils. We know that in the UK, 58% of our soils are suboptimal in terms of pH. Only 9% of them are at target P and K level, so there are challenges there. We also know that we need to increase the quantity and quality of grass growing. Our current breeding programs are producing varieties that can yield in excess of 17 tonne of dry matter per hectare. Currently on farms, our estimates are suggesting that we're growing about 7.5 tonne of utilised grass on a dairy farm and 4.1 on a beef farm. So huge opportunities to increase grass quality and the quantity of the grass that's grown. And finally, there's a real driver to increase animal output from grassland and grassland utilisation in terms of, for example, let's take milk production from forage. Since 2001 to 2013, we've seen milk production from forage almost half, from 3,000 litres per cow down to just over 1,500 litres per cow. Now that has started to increase again, but we have got a long way to go back to even reaching on par with 2001 levels. So huge opportunities there. And actually, the challenge that we're asking is, where does technology actually fit into this space? And that's a key question that we really want to try and grab the answers to through our new initiative, our Precision Grassland platform, which we are developing at AFBI. This is part of CL, and a number of the speakers alluded to our involvement with CL, which is the UK Centre for Innovation and Excellence in Livestock, which was developed in 2015 and is really kicking off a 5-year programme of investment in research facilities in partnership with the industry to ask the big key questions addressing agriculture and in particular our livestock systems at this present moment, and looking forward to the future. And one of the, I suppose, unique aspects in terms of AFBI's involvement is the development of this precision grazing platform, which isn't replicated at any of the other members of the CL organisation or across the UK. So a really unique resource there that we have. And this precision grazing platform is really about developing a high-tech research platform which enables us to bring together the collection of detailed information from soil, plant and animals and really integrate that in one space. And so in looking at that, there's 3 key areas which we'd like to address: soil, plant and animal. And so what technologies are really going to come to the fore in each of those areas? Well, if we think about soil, and Ian's already picked up on this, and I suppose just to show that Northern Ireland, we're still seeing the same challenges appearing. We are noticing wide variation in grass growth within between fields. Some data from SRUC in Scotland show that even in a 20-acre silage field, which was yielding about 10.2 tonne of dry matter per hectare over the course of the year, we had areas which were only producing 6.8 tonne of dry matter and areas producing 13.2 tonne. So a real variation in grass growth potential and a real lost opportunity there in terms of grass production. Closer to home in Northern Ireland, John Bailey and his team at AFB in the Agri-Environment branch have been looking at a similar story at grass growth variability across farms, and we can see that at a single silage cut, and this data was taken back as early as 2003, we've seen wide variability in dry matter yields, areas producing less than a tonne of dry matter per hectare and areas producing over 6.5 tonne of dry matter per hectare. So huge variability there. And when we start to understand the underlying causes of that variation, certainly we can see that the dark green areas in the map on the left, which are associated with high grassland productivity, are associated with better soil nutritional status. So in terms of precision technologies moving forward, that means there's huge opportunity to start to look at technologies such as variable rate fertilizer application, proven and tested in arable production systems, but as yet no data there to suggest how valuable they could be in grassland systems, and something that we want to look at going forward as part of our precision grassland platform. Just before we leave the area of soil, some of that underlying variation that we can see, and certainly proven on the mainland UK, that we do see in grassland productivity is driven by differences in soil compaction. Just by merely putting some GPS loggers on tractors, scientists at SRUC were able to identify that in a single silage cut, we traffic over 65% of the area of the field. Over the course of the year, that's about 90% of the area. With the advent of new GPS technologies, we can look at different traffic management patterns in silage operations, and some data there from SRUC is showing that actually by moving to a controlled traffic pattern after just the course of a three-cut system over the course of 3 months, they managed to get a difference of almost a tonne of dry matter per hectare in terms of productivity. So huge opportunities there for the development of GPS and GPS technologies and integrated into our tractor systems. In terms of grassland management, one of the things that we are quite keen to do moving forward is really look at how precision technology can help us capture that variability that we see, not only in grass growth within individual fields and individual farms, but across the province as well. Hopefully a lot of you will have come across Grasscheck, and it's been one of our longest running research programs at AFB Hillsborough. And has been around for over a decade now. And really the remit of this project is to provide farmers with 7 and 14-day grass growth rates using a model developed here in Northern Ireland to help them budget grass over the course of the season. Quite a unique approach and something that a lot of other countries don't have. To really help us understand the variability across Northern Ireland this year with Grasscheck, we are moving into on-farm commercial data capture for this. And to do this, we're using precision technologies to get a better handle on the potential of grass production across Northern Ireland in terms of both the climate and then what's actually being produced as well. So we've got a network of soon-to-be 30 weather stations located across the country, which has given us access to real-time data, automatically recording variables such as solar radiation, soil temperature, rainfall, and that's helping us look at the potential for grass growth across Northern Ireland and examine how that aligns with our grass growth forecasting model. And we're also using GPS position plate meters to give us a handle on variability in grass growth between individual fields and within individual fields on commercial farms as well. So if you are interested and do want more information on Grasscheck, do visit the online platform. You can see the website there, and you can get access to that real-time weather information and that grass growth and quality information as well. But that's only scratching the surface, and Ian, obviously, as you've seen from his presentation, is doing a lot of work on hyperspectral imaging to really predict grass growth. And I think this is a really exciting area of movement that we're going to see having a big change in agriculture in the next 5 to 10 years. Certainly, we know that in Northern Ireland, one of the challenges we do face is actually we aren't undertaking enough grassland measurement activity. We don't know how much grass we're growing and what the quality of it is. There are opportunities there to use these technologies which offer the benefits of reducing time requirement and providing us with more detailed data to really capture that high quality grass growth and grass quality information, be that either by satellite images, be that by aerial drones, be that by trailed pasture devices. There is technology developing there quite rapidly, and that is something that is very exciting for us going forward and something that we'll be looking at in a lot of detail in the next few years. Finally, what I wanted to talk about was the new technologies in animal management. And I suppose taking a step back again, I think a couple of our speakers have alluded to this. There's a lot more we can now measure about the individual animal. But take a step back and look at the human. It doesn't matter what you do now, whether you eat, sleep, or drink, there's probably an app which you can record that on. If we look at the development in wearable technologies that we've seen in the last couple of years, and the number of wearable technologies is expected to increase to almost 1 billion different technologies by the time we get to 2020, we can see that we are measuring things such as blood pressure, respiration rates. You can count the number of steps or how much movement you produce. You can monitor your calorie usage during the day and what your sleep activity is at night. And those development in wearable technologies actually mean that there is applications there and there's technology there that agriculture can build on. So if we then consider our animal and we look at our dairy cow, there's a number of different metrics quite similar to the human that we can measure, be that rumination, dry matter intake in an indoor system, chewing activity. We can measure milk production and milk quality through inline sensors. There's a range of different technologies there. So that development of movement in wearable technology we're seeing in humans provides significant opportunities for agriculture to build on that technology development, that's happening in other industries. And I suppose from a grassland management perspective, really what's happening and what's very exciting to see is that technology development that we're seeing is really starting to move now into the pasture space. Before, a lot of our technologies worked incredibly well in a house system. It's a nice controlled environment. But actually now these technologies are moving with the development of better batteries, better sensors into the outdoor arena. And that is allowing us to almost collect now nearly real-time data. It is a challenge, but it is certainly improving. So we can collect close to real-time data, for example, of animal grazing behavior. So this is output from a rumination collar on an animal. We can identify peak times of grazing, of rumination, of resting behavior, and use that to impact or to understand, for example, different grass allocation strategies, different cultivar performance under grazing situations. There's a whole host of applications for that. The other area that's really taking off, particularly in the southern hemisphere at the minute, when it comes to monitoring animals at pasture, is that development in animal positioning. Originally developed in Australia, merely putting a GPS sensor on an animal was incredibly valuable when you were farming 6,000 hectares and actually merely just wanted to find the location of that animal in that 6,000 hectares. And you've got to say, well, actually, does this have an application for us here in Northern Ireland on small-scale farms? But there are things that we can take from the principles and the development of this. One of the applications that it's initially being used for out in Australia is just to actually determine the true productivity of pasture. If we can take what the animal is doing, her grazing time, we know when she's grazing, and we can marry that up with where she's actually grazing, we will see, we can produce, and you can see it here in the bottom right, actual true pasture productivity maps, how much milk or how much meat is produced from individual areas of pasture. The other development which is really taking off is animal herding, or the use of virtual fencing with GPS location collars to really act as a method for moving pastures around animals. And you might think, well, actually, do we really need that? That is small. We've got small-scale field sizes here in Northern Ireland. What are the applications of that? But having that sort of technology, then if we can combine it with, for example, the rumination technology that we see here, we can then think about different grassland allocation strategies. So, for example, if we can take real-time data on rumination behaviour, on grazing behaviour, and once that animal stops grazing, stops ruminating, we actually say we need to allocate her fresh herbage, and that is a mechanism by which we can increase dry matter intake. There's huge opportunities for this technology to answer some of those sorts of questions. But finally, just what I want to finish on, and Ian very much highlighted the sort of large-scale impact that this technology development will have, but that the key value in this is in data integration. Farms are becoming huge repositories of data. Practically every new piece of kit that we buy will record some element of data, and that's hugely valuable. But where the true value is in terms of precision technology is bringing that data together. And that's why, as part of our AFBI precision grazing platform, we wanted to integrate as many different technologies as possible, operating on a range of temporal and spatial scales across the soil, the plant, and the animal. So, for example, can we combine data to better manage cows at pasture? So, taking information on pasture yield and pasture quality, taking information on animal grazing behaviour, and marrying that up with animal productivity, milk yield, and quality. Bringing that data together certainly offers us great opportunities towards, for example, things like the measurement of individual animal dry matter intake or actual precision supplementation strategies on farm. Can we get even better at targeting the use of precision feeding and the use of resources to actually manage cows at pasture better? So really, just to finish, a lot of development in this space, technology development, whatever industry you're in, is moving incredibly rapidly. And agriculture will benefit from this through the development of on-farm technologies and the ability for us to better understand that complex biological system that is present on farms. In Northern Ireland, I think driving grassland productivity and grassland utilisation is obviously a key challenge for us going forward and looking ahead to 2030. And there are many current technologies which are currently developed and we'll be working with at AFBI to investigate the application of these, which will help us drive that continued improvement in grass growth and utilisation. Thank you very much.